Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is about planning a trip to Iceland, one of my most favorite countries in the whole wide world. So it's been a month that I've been back from my trip to Iceland, and I literally have been asked so many questions regarding planning a trip to Iceland in December because it's the wintry month and it's really cold. And initially even I had my reservations regarding planning a trip to Iceland in December, but then I think I have an answer for you guys. So for me, the first and the most important reason for planning a trip in December was to see the Northern Lights. So it's only during the winter months when you get to see the Northern Lights in Iceland. That is from November through March. And another motivation was to see the natural ice caves. So again, the ice caves are only open during the winter months and they form quite properly during these months. So now I'll talk about the planning aspects of your trip. If you're planning a trip to Iceland, there are two options for you. Either you can do a guided tour. You can do the multi-day tours with different local companies that operate all these tours in Iceland. Or two, you can do a self-drive tour. I would have loved to do the self-drive tour, but again I had my reservations because I had heard so many stories about accidents, snow blizzards and all those creepy stories related to the Icelandic folklore. So I was quite scared, to be honest. I preferred going for multi-day tours. So now I based myself in a very centrally located hotel in Reykjavik, which was really close to all these pickup locations and the bus terminal. So all my local tour guides used to come in the morning, early morning, like around 6, 7 and sometimes 8, and pick me up from the hotel itself. Talking about the guided tours, I booked all my tours through this very trustworthy website called getyourguide.com, and all the Icelandic local tour operators are registered with Get Your Guide. Best thing is that you get to see a lot of tours listed over there and all the prices as well. Plus you get really handsome discounts if you book early, which I insist you should, because all the tours run out really fast. Winter time is ought to be the low season time in Iceland, but trust me, it's just the other way around. When we were there, we encountered so much tourism. I mean, all the tours were full every time. So the first tour I did was a Northern Lights tour with Grey Line Adventures. It was organized in a bus and it started at 9 at the night. It ended post the midnight, and the first time I went for this tour, I did not see the Northern Lights. The best part about the Northern Lights tour is that you can reschedule this tour as many times as you want. And the second time I scheduled this tour, I was really lucky and I got to see the Northern Lights on an active volcano. So it was crazy experience. I booked this tour for 3,200 INR per person, and the rescheduling is free. So you can reschedule it any number of times until you see the Northern Lights for free. So the second tour I did was with a company called Arctic Adventures. This is a very famous company in Iceland and it's famous for operating all these monster truck tours, which I was very excited to try out initially, and yeah, it was a very nice experience. So this tour included Golden Circle tour, snowmobiling on Langjokull, the longest glacier in Iceland, and the monster truck ride. So this tour was the most exciting tour for me because it was conducted on this monster truck, which was like huge, and I was picked up from my hotel again. We reached Thingvellir National Park at around 10:30 and it was still so dark that I couldn't see the park. So it was kind of a miss for me, but it was more or less made up later when we reached the Glacier location where we had to do the snowmobiling, and we got all this dressed up in the Arctic Adventure gear, and then we got all these lessons about how to ride the snowmobile, and then we started the snowmobile experience. So now I spent 22,000 INR for this tour, which I think is quite nice because you get so much action and so much entertainment just for 22,000 per person, plus you get to ride the monster truck as well. Third trip I did was with a company called Mountaineers of Iceland, again a very renowned company, and we did a glacier hiking tour with them. That was a day I would never remember because I broke my camera. So here's my tip for you guys. If you're coming to Iceland and if you're thinking about doing a glacier hiking tour, please pack your cameras in proper airtight bag. All in all, aside all this damage done, it was a very nice experience for me because I got to walk on the glacier. Like the first time I actually wore crampons on my shoes and got dressed up for glacier hiking, and I actually walked on this layer of snow. It was quite amazing. I think if you want to do glacier hiking, it's important that you do it with a guide, with a proper guide. He'll take you all the way up, and you'll walk between all the crevices and cracks, and it'll be fun for sure, and it'll be a day to remember for sure. I booked this trip for around 12,000 INR, and I think it was quite a steal deal. This last trip I did was again with a company called Troll Expeditions, and again I booked my trip through getyourguide.com. So I booked this trip solely because I wanted to see the natural ice cave, I wanted to tour the southern coast, and I wanted to go to the Langjokull Glacier and see that black diamond beach. This was a 2-day tour, and I got to stay in the southern countryside as well, which was kind of very motivating for me because I wanted to spend a few days there, which I couldn't, but with this company it was possible for me to do everything in one go. And the tour was conducted really by a very experienced professional, and he made sure that I got to spend some time on all these locations, and it was not a rush tour for me. So yeah, it was quite amazing. Our first stop was Skogafoss. That's the beautiful waterfall in Iceland. It'll leave you in awe. The first moment you see this waterfall, you'll be in awe. Then you make a stop at Vik. That's the southernmost village in Iceland. Again, you must have seen this iconic picture of the church, the red and white church, somewhere or another, because it's a very famous church. We took a stop over there. From there we moved on to the black sand beach, and that was again a very surreal experience for us because the beach was beautiful. So looking back at my experience, I would like to tell you a few things, which can help you plan your trip, and you can save a few bucks as well. So the food is definitely not cheap in Iceland. It's advisable that you carry packed food with you. Number 2, credit card works everywhere, so you really don't need to carry a lot of cash. Number 3, do not buy Icelandic water bottles. You don't need to buy water bottles there because Icelandic water is so pure and it's so tasty. You would love drinking the tap water itself. Number 4, if you're going for grocery shopping, I would recommend you to shop at Netto, Kronan and Bonus. Do not shop at 10-11. It's the most expensive grocery store in Iceland. Next is, I would recommend you to carry an umbrella all the time, whether you're coming in summers or winters. Next, I would also recommend you to wear waterproof boots. Always wear waterproof boots, otherwise you'd be sitting in your wet boots and you'll really not like it at the end of the day after glacier hiking or ice climbing. It'll be really sad experience. And yeah, then I'll also recommend, please dress in layers. Always wear your thermals, proper thermals. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to share all the can I had regarding planning a trip to Iceland in the winter month. And if you like this video, hit the bell icon, share, subscribe. See you in the next video.